What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. This is Web Dev Journey, and today we're going to be talking about service registry. All right, now microservices architecture follows a basic principle that services can be created and also taken down at any time, when you scale up or down. So there's always going to be a unknown number of instances of a given service, and of course each of these instances might listen on a different IP endpoint. So for an example, let's say that service 4 is trying to grab service 2. Now we have two services 2. Which one does it really go to? That's kind of the problem for this thing. There's actually no way to know where to find the endpoint of the service you want to talk to. And this is a problem. Now there are two common ways to actually or two common infrastructures that actually keeps track of the services that exist and that could provide the information needed to route the request to it, right? And there's two of them. One of them is called service mesh, which we're not going to talk about because that one actually uses it's commonly used in containerized applications, like when you're using Kubernetes, and we're not doing Kubernetes, which is literally doing bare bones service registration. And the other one is literally called service registry, right? So this is our service registry. This is where we need to have our services registered to. So how this works, or how the service registry works, is that here we have some services, obviously 1, 2, 3, and 4. We need to register these services, and we're going to keep them in this service registry, right? So once we register a service, we're going to be passing in whatever you want, right? A name, the version that you want, the IP, the port. So that way, this actually has the IP and port where it lives on. So now when service 4 is trying to get service 2, it's going to queue the service registry and it's going to give you back the IP and the port, which is very important. This is how we keep track on where a service actually lives and how we could actually communicate with them. Even though there's tons of services or tons of instances of services, we know which one exactly we're talking to. So we're going to be doing this service registry and not all of it in this video. All we're going to be doing in this video is literally just registering a service to this service registry. And that's it. That's basically it. We're not going to delete one. We're not going to grab one. We're just going to register one. All right. And let's just get started on it. So let me open my code. I do want to talk about the folder structure for a bit. So obviously we do have four components, right? Like I said in the last video, our intro video, our meetup, which is our main component, needs to talk to our feedback service and our speaker service. And our service registry, like I just talked about, is the ones that's going to be keeping track of all of our services, primarily our feedback and speakers. But we're not going to get into that right now. All we need to do is just set up a dummy service to register, right? So inside of service registry, the folder we're going to be work on, the only folder you're going to be seeing on GitHub is this, right? And I want to talk about a little bit what's inside here. And all of it is just basic code. So our bin run is literally logic for running our server. Our config, it's just configurations, right? We have a logger and we also have a name, the version, and this all comes from our package.json, name and version, right? Where are we at? Our index and service timeout. And don't worry, we will talk about this when the time comes. And then our log. It's basic stuff, right? Our configurations. And then our server, service.js. This is where we initialize Express and then add basic configurations for this as well. All right. And you see, I already started messing with these things. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Ignore that for right now. So the first thing we want to do is inside service registry, make sure you're inside the folder, just npm i to install all the dependencies that we have. Okay. And there we go. You could also do npm audit fix if you want to fix them. Let me just do that, just for, did I do that? No. There you go. Anyways, let me get rid of this now since it's doing that. Anyways, now what I want to do is actually create routes to, register a service, to delete a service, and to get a service. we're going to just create basic routes and that's it, right? So service dot, I'm using service. You can name it whatever you want, but as you can see right here, I didn't say app or route. I said const service equals express, right? So that way we could name it service. You know, keeping the name convention. So service dot put is going to be one of them, and this route is going to look like we're going to have a /register, and what we need for this to register, we're going to need parameters. So we're going to need the service name. We're also going to need the service version, service port. That's it. Yeah, that's right. Port. Rec, res, and then next for right now. And like I said, this is going to be simple stuff. So return next. And all I'm going to say right here is not implemented. There you go. There you go. Not implemented. So to register our service, we need them to provide the service name and the service version and also the service port where they actually want the service to live at, right? We already talked about this. And I'm going to create 2 more routes. Paste, paste. This is going to be delete. And this is literally to delete the service, which is going to be, it needs the exact same parameters as above. And then the last one is going to be get, which all we need to do is grab the service name and the service version. Remember, the port is going to come from us. We're going to be queuing the registry and then spitting out the IP and port for them. They don't need to provide that for us, right? But like I said, all we're going to be focusing on right now is this bit right here, just the register, all right? And for that, I actually want to create a class for this to keep track of these things, right? So in server, I'm gonna create a new folder, lib, and inside lib, I'm gonna create a new file called service registry.js. All right, so class service registry. And before I forget, because I always do, I'm gonna just export this. Exports service registry. All right. Up here, tab it. We are going to need a constructor, and we do need to pass in our logger. So I'm gonna just add that as a param, and I'm gonna say this dot log is going to equal log. Now there is some other things that we need to do inside of our constructor. This dot services is going to equal an empty object. This is where we're going to keep track of the services currently in. And then this dot timeout is going to equal 30. Now, we're not going to be using this right now, but the main purpose for this timeout is that, hey, if we're not using a service for at least 30 seconds, or we haven't seen a service being used in the last 30 seconds, what we want to do is actually just remove it. There's no point in having it. Now, the whole reason of having this is that you could change this to whatever you want, right? But the whole reason of having it is that we don't want a unused service just taking up resources on our server, right? It takes up memory. We don't want that. We want to just get rid of it. Now, there's no need for it since no one's using it. So just get rid of it so that way we don't have it no more. And that's why we have that timeout. Now, like I said, we're going to be using it in another video, but right now we just initialized it. Now we're going to create a method called register, and we need to provide it the name, the version, and IP and port. Yep. And then const key. Now we do need to create a unique key. Like I said, we're going to be creating or storing this inside this services, which is an object. So we need a unique key for every service that we create. And I'm literally just going to say name plus, did I spell version, plus version plus the IP plus port. That's going to be my name. It's going to be unique, obviously, because we're not going to have the same service twice, or at least not in the same port. All right, now that we have that, we do need to check if this service already exists, right? So I'm going to say if it does not exist, so this dot services, adding in that key. Oops. Adding in that key. So if this service does not exist, well, we want to actually add it. So this dot services with the key, we're going to set that equal up to an empty object for right now. And then we're going to add stuff to that object. And we're going to need this a couple of times. So I'm just do it like that. So the first thing we need to do is create that timestamp. Remember, we want to check if it's actually 30 seconds or not. So we need a timestamp. So timestamp, and we're going to set this to math.floor, new date, and we're going to divide this by 1,000 so that way we have a unique timestamp in seconds. Next up, we want to save the, well, actually right here and right here. Screw it. We want the IP, we want the port, we want the name, and we want the version, right? So IP, port, name, and version. And we also want to console log one more thing, or not console log, this dot log out, dot debug. All right, this is where we're going to just say added services with the name, and then we also want to give it the version that they added, version, and we're going to tell it where it lives at IP port, right? So added services, I don't know, name with the version 1.0 at 192.168, localhost 3000. I don't know, right? That's what we're going to be doing. And then we're going to return the key, which is this right here, right? Since this has all of this, since we're saving it as that, right? I'm not going to explain it. You should know what's happening right now. So this is actually what happens if we don't have it. What happens if we do have it? Well, all we're going to be doing is literally having this, copy this, resetting the timestamp, and then doing this as well. But instead of added, I'm going to say updated services. All right, so that's it for right now. For register anyways. Now let's actually try to, we're going to actually use it inside of service. So first thing we need to do right here on top, const service registry is going to equal require lib service registry, and down here we do need to have that. So const service registry is going to equal new service registry, and then remember we're passing in the log, so make sure you pass in that log. Now down here, this is where we're going to be using it. Get rid of that, and we're not going to be using next right now anyways. So the first thing we need to do right here in our router is actually grab the params that we set up here. So I'm going to say const, and I'm going to use destructuring for this. Service name, service version, and then the service port. I'm going to set that equal to rec dot params. All right. Now you do need to remember that in service registry, we're actually passing in the IP as well. And we're not grabbing that from right here. It's actually from obviously wherever the IP is at, wherever you have it hosted, right? And we need to figure out if wherever it's hosted, if it's using the IPv4 notation or the IPv6. I'm not going to get into detail on what's the difference or any of that stuff, but we do need to figure out what it is and then send the correct IP version that they're using to our service registry to have that there. So what I'm going to do is say const service IP, and we're going to set this equal to rec.connection.remote address, and this is going to give us the IP address for this. But like I said, we do need to figure out if it's v4 or v6. So for that, I'm gonna say .include, and if it includes 2 colons like this, then it's v6. Sorry, I was making sure. Yeah, it's v6. And what needs to happen is that we do need to send back the correct notation for that, for express anyways, and that's inside of brackets. And we're going to be passing in the remote connection remote address, or rec connection remote address. Now this is for IPv6, and if it's not, then it's IPv4, which in that case we could just literally just send out the rec connection remote address. Let me just make this good looking. All right, now that we have our service IP, now we could actually go and register our service. Const service key, we're going to set that equal to service registry dot register, and I forget the name, version, IP port. Okay, so that's service name, service version, service IP, and then service port. Let me actually make this toggle wrap so that we can see what's going on. All right, and then after we have that stuff, we could just return res.json, and I'm gonna say result, set that to the service key. Control save. Now what we're going to get back is literally the service key, which is the key right here, which is our name plus version plus IP plus port. That's it. That's what we're going to get back. And we could actually test this, and I've already tested it before, but we could test this by opening up Postman right here, right? And then what we want to do is actually, don't save, get a put request to HTTP local 3000 / register / service name, and I just called mine service num1 with the version, service version, which mine was 1.0, and the port, which is going to live in 3001. But let me just change this so that way you don't get the same thing down there. I'm gonna say service name something, I don't know, right? All right, send this off, and we should, oh sorry, first of all, don't forget to start it down here. Damn it. npm run, or what did I forget if I actually got scripts. Okay, just start. So npm start. I'll just do start like that. All right, and there we go. Hi there, I'm listening on port 3000 in development mode. Great, we get our logger working. Let me actually go back here and then redo this. And ooh, we actually get a message. What? Hold on, let's see what's going on. It's saying that we can't add timestamp. Let me actually look at that. Disconnect this. Let me see. Oh, I know what happened. Here it is. We forgot to say this .services, and then with the key, I think I deleted it. We need to set this equal to an empty object so that way we can initialize that key and then start adding that stuff to that key. That's why, sorry about that. Control save this now and let's try it one more time. npm run start. That was my fault, guys. Super sorry about that. Let's actually try that one more time. And there we go. We actually have it. You can see that our result is, well, literally what we told it, right? The key. The name, service name, something, the version 1.0, our IP, which is in this case is v6 but with the 1, and then our port 3001, which is exactly what we wanted, and that's exactly what we got. So that's it for this video, guys. All we did was just did a simple registry to register our service. We just did a simple registry for a service. And we haven't done anything with that registry or with that service. In the next video, what we're going to be doing is literally these two right here, down here. These other two, right? But thank you guys for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And honestly, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for spending your time watching my videos. It does mean a lot to me. And I will see you. Well, actually, first of all, if you liked it, please leave a like on the video. It does help me out. Leave a comment down below and also subscribe on my channel if you have not. And if you actually like my content and you think it's deemed worthy for you, please subscribe. Thank you, honestly. And I will see you in the next video where we're going to be finishing up these two services down here. Thank you guys, and bye.